What up? What is poppin'? What is goings on? Um, Here to talk a little bit of boxing, obviously. Um, we got great fight that happened last night. Great fight. Um, I don't know how many of you guys saw that. The Ray Savage versus, don't know how to pronounce Monday's name, but it was something very Russian. And then we got the Haney footage that just came out. Haney sparring Tank. And then, of course, we got Ryan wiling out. So I want to know what you guys think about all that. Um, Let me know. What's up, Mexican G? What's poppin'? What is poppin'? Um, yeah, man. What'd you guys think of the sparring video? What's up, Don Drickdendem? Don Drickdem. Just another Sunday. Yeah, it sure is. It's warm over here. New York City. It's warm today, baby. I like it. It was almost 70 degrees, which is wild for this time of year. Jonathan, what's up? What's up? What's up? What did you guys think of the Ray Savage fight, if you saw it? And what did you guys think of that sparring? I released a video on it, sparring between Haney and Tank from probably 10 years ago. What did you guys think of that? Um, Tank was whooping on Haney in that clip, but who knows how the whole session went. Yeah. When you have a minute and 50 seconds of a remix tape of a greatest hits, a minute 50-second greatest hits out of a session that was at least 30 minutes long, at least. And the minute and 50 seconds we saw wasn't like Devin at no point was seriously hurt. No point was about to go down. He was just there was a couple spots where he was being overwhelmed and a couple spots where Tank was just being more aggressive. Really, it was more the energy. Tank's energy was like trying to take his head off. That was a great fight. It was exciting. Yeah, man, that fight was really good, right? The Ray Savage one, that was really good. I had Ray losing at the time of the stoppage, which was literally 6 seconds before the fight was about to be over. But homeboy turned his back, which you don't turn your back ever, because the second you turn your back, you're telling the referee you quit. So if it gets stopped, no argument. If he would have taken a knee, by the time the referee counted to 8 and he got up, the bell would have rang, he would have won the fight because he was ahead on the scorecards. So he didn't have the wherewithal. So isn't that crazy? If he just would have taken a knee instead of turned his back, he'd be the new champion right now. I don't know. I was surprised that he reacted that way to getting hit. Yes, that was a come from behind fight, flat out. Yeah, man, it was wild. I had it as a draw if Ray was down last round. Yep. Yo, Marco, what's up? What's up, D White? Yeah, man, it was definitely a come from behind. Homeboy, Uzbekistan dude hit him with a good right hook, and it hurt Savage. Remember, that was like in the 4th round, and he was controlling the fight at that point. But then the Uzbekistan guy started putting his foot on the. Ray Savage started putting his foot on the gas, started coming at him, trying to walk him down. But the worst, what I think did him in, the Uzbeki, even though I thought the Uzbeki guy was winning at the stoppage, he abandoned his jab. Before that, he was popping that stick. Bop, bop, bop. Was not only jabbing him coming in, but at the end of a combination or a spin, would jab him on his way out and would just force him to reset his whole game plan. So the walking down put pressure on the Uzbeki dude. But what's up, Stop Motion MMA? He put pressure on him, but yeah, it was a great fight, man. Great fight. I think if Ray did a little less earmuff defense, because all these punches were coming straight down the middle, because he was throwing straight punches. If he did a little more head movement, a lot less punches would have landed. Anthony Rodriguez, Coach Anthony, yeah, man. Coach Anthony did a great job coaching. He did a great job verbally, um, like what's the word? God, I'm tired. Motivating the fighter, and he also did a great job with the game plan, with the technical aspect of it. Because motivation is just as big sometimes. Should rematch. They should rematch. They should. Best fight I've seen in a while. Brought me to tears at the end. Raymond is one of my favorite fighters. Where you from? You from Jersey? He's good, right? He's good. Um, he has great skill. Like his speed, his power, and all that is exceptional. But once he got faced with a little adversity, he had to learn. This is how he learns. This is how he downloads information. This is how he gets better. He didn't have that in him just yet. This was hope should be a huge learning experience for him to move forward and do well. So we'll see. We'll see but they should rematch because that was just super close. And I think Homeboy's this Becky dude who hurt his foot was hurt, if I'm not mistaken. A knee injury or ankle or something. So what's going on, Knight Rider? Knight Rider. Yeah, it's hard to read. What's going on, my man? Yup, knee issue. Oh, New Zealand. Nice. Dope. I interviewed. Did you see my interview with David Tua? Did it like a month ago, 2 months ago, maybe. Might be a top five fight of the year. Yeah, might be. We got to wait to see what happens with these other fights coming up now. Oh, thanks, man. Yeah, Tua doesn't really do many interviews. Cool guy. Cool as shit. David Tua is really cool. Did Jimmy Thunder die? He was New Zealand, right? I think Jimmy Thunder died. If he did, how'd he die? Somebody told me that another dude died, but he didn't. Who was it? An old heavyweight. Oh, Bruce Seldon, but he didn't die. He did not die. Appreciate you, Raphael. I don't know how to put this on so everybody could see it because I'm not using StreamYard. But Raphael says if Anthony Rodriguez was coaching Jermaine Ortiz, Ortiz would have beat Tio. Rodriguez is Kevin Rooney was to Tyson. Raphael, appreciate the super chat. Yeah, absolutely. And some people think Jermaine did beat Tio. I gave it to Tio, but it was close. It was close. Oh, wait, no. I didn't give it to Tio. I gave it to Jermaine Ortiz. That's right. I did give it to Jermaine Ortiz. I think Tio lost that fight. But it was really close. It was really close. But I think Tio lost. Yeah. But appreciate you. No, I should have used StreamYard because I don't know how to highlight videos so everybody could see them. I don't think I could do that on YouTube. I think it's only on like one of the third-party apps. Ortiz ran the whole fight. He did, but he was landing punches, and he did stop, and he did exchange, and he did have spurts of aggression. So he didn't run. Shakur ran the whole fight. Shakur is somebody who ran and had very little offensive output. Jermaine moved, and had a lot of offensive pockets of offensive output. But it was boring, awfully boring. No argument there. Jeff Spark from Queens, what up? Are you going to do a fight breakdown for the Joshua fight coming up? Should I? I mean, there's not much footage I could put up of Ngannou. Just keep looping his Tyson Fury knockdown. That's all he really did. I mean, he landed a couple decent shots on Fury too, but not much. Not much. Yeah, guys, do me a favor. Please hit the like button. Thumbs up. It apparently really helps the algorithm and helps me get my stuff seen. And I'm learning all this stuff now. It matters. So please hit the like button. Appreciate you guys. Wrong. Wrong what? What's wrong? You disagree with what I said about Jermaine Ortiz? Well, what are you gonna do? I still gave it to Jermaine though. Do you think it would be competitive? The Anthony Joshua fight? I do not. I think Anthony Joshua is going to possibly knock him out, if not stop him. I think people have a recency bias where people think that because he just made Fury look so bad, Ngannou that is, that and Fury was looked at as the best heavyweight, that now he's the best heavyweight. But Fury took Ngannou lightly, one, and two, Fury has a different style. Anthony Joshua, I think, is going to come right at him and throw bombs at him and be in shape and not take him lightly and really expose his inexperience in professional boxing. Early KO, very possible. Tio was clearly frustrated and makes me cite his level of boxing. He didn't look good in that fight. He did not look good. Agreed. I'm going to pick an upset. Marco Joshua has some vulnerability. Ngannou has a chin. It's possible. Ngannou hits really hard. You know what I'm saying? And Joshua has gone down, and especially at that heavyweight, man, both boys pushing past 250. Somebody could go down at any moment. But everything you just said, that is your opinion. I don't know which part you're talking about. But talking about the Teofimo thing? 10 rounds? 10 rounds for what, Joshua? Yeah. We'll see. We'll see. We'll see what happens. I don't know if it'll go 10. Well, the fight's 10 rounds. Is that what you're saying? Yeah, the fight is going 10 rounds. But I don't know. Is it 12? No, it's 10. That's right, because Ngannou said, he's like, I'm not doing 12 rounds. He's like, I want to feel out 10 first. It'll be fun. That'll be fun to see. We got a couple other. That's more of a spectacle. Like, I watched Jake Paul's fight, believe it or not. And, you know, that sold more pay-per-views, I think, and sold more tickets than a lot of these quote-unquote real or championship fights Jake did. That just shows you, you know, what marketing and social media presence can bring. I hope they release the whole sparring footage, Tank and Devin. That would have happened. Like, why not just do that from the jump if there wasn't an agenda behind releasing just bits and pieces, right? That would have happened. How do you feel about Jake? I think Jake is working hard. I think Jake has good speed and power. I think Jake is becoming a decent boxer, but I think Jake lacks a tremendous amount of amateur experience. No, he lacks all amateur experience and is very inexperienced as a pro. And I think him fighting, it's okay to pad your record. And it's only his 5th or 6th fight, so it's okay to fight the guys he's fighting. I don't think he's going to have it in him to be a world-class fighter. Forget about a champion. I don't think he'll even be a top 10 fighter. At least not literally. Like, some of the sanctioning bodies might rank him for money because his fights bring money and sanctioning fees, but I don't think he'll get there. I don't think he just doesn't have the experience level. He has the tools. He actually has good natural talent, but it takes years and years of sharpening and fine-tuning the craft to be able to get to that point. They only released that part because that was the only part in question. Bill Haney Mayweather Jr. said it was one-sided in Devin's favor. That was a lie. Well, not true. If only a minute and 50 seconds were when Tank was getting in, and the rest was all Devin, that would be one-sided. You know, I'm not agreeing. I don't know what it is, but I'm just telling you, if that's the greatest hits and that's all the highlights, and the rest was Devin touching up Tank, I'll say one thing: Tank definitely looked frustrated. That's a fact, and that is usually because you're getting touched. I already said this in my video, but it's like, yeah, especially if you're getting touched by, at the time, a younger, less experienced dude, you're frustrated. So we don't know, but it could easily not be, what they said could still be true, but we don't know. I'm not saying I agree with it either way. I know that I don't know, and I know that there could be other outcomes. I'm rooting for Joshua. Okay. Do you think Ryan will make it to the fight? I don't know. I'd have to say yes. He's either drunk but he's either promoting it heavy, or he's having a bit of a unraveling, or the pressure's really weighing on him heavily. Or it might even be a mix of both. One thing I've learned in life, man, there's usually a balance, just like in boxing. People are too quick to think, for example, if I had some people think that if I think Canelo is a duck, that's because I don't think Tank is a duck. Or it's like, no, the two have nothing to do with each other. It's not all or nothing. Like, I don't know if that was a good example, but there's always two sides. There's always two sides to a story, and it's usually in a drama, or in a disagreement or misunderstanding. It's usually going to be a little bit of each side. Sometimes it's way more of one side and way less of the other, but it's almost always going to be a little bit of both sides are going to be involved. It's not just one person lying or one person not lying. You know what I'm saying? Lewis Neary is going to be Inoue's toughest opponent. I don't even know what that is, but you put that on my radar. I'm rooting for Joshua. I think they robbed KSI. I'm still a little salty about that fight. KSI versus Fury? Didn't he fight Fury? Oh, no. Tommy Fury? No? I don't know what you're talking about. T. White, you're right. Yeah, you are. Anthony Britt. What up, Anthony Britt? Hit the like button, everybody, please. Por favor. Por favor. Jake Paul for KSI? Jake Paul for KSI? No. Did he? I don't think he did. I don't absorb that if that happened. Is a good boxing business to do what? See, this is what I don't like about this thing. It's hiding. The heart button is hiding one of the words. So all I see is a good business to blank what he's doing. What's that word? With the C. Oh, to do what he's doing. To do what who's doing. To do what who's doing. Is it good business to do what who's doing? Yeah, KSI fought Tommy Fury. I thought Tommy Fury beat him. That's when KSI was doing that weird thing with his hands dancing, and yeah, I thought Tommy beat him. It was boring. What is Ryan doing? Oh, U.S. is a good business to what he's doing. It's making us talk about it right now, right? It's driving sales to the fight. It's driving interest to his social media pages. While it's could be considered bait and switching and not honest, it's good business. Yes, definitely good business. What's up, Skills? Lewis Neary had an incredible fight against the Russian on DAZN at the end of 2022. Okay, I'm going to check him out. Lewis Neary. The American? The American? A lot of people seem to think this is the better version of Ryan when he fought Tank. I disagree. He seems way less focused. Just because he's wilding out doesn't mean he's not focused on the fight. It could mean that, but it doesn't always, I know I was able to compartmentalize both of those. Matter of fact, a lot of these guys are only happy and only focused when they're in the ring or in the gym. When they're out is when they while out, and that could be what we're seeing. Somebody whiling out, but in the gym, he could be in there working hard and focused. Because boxing will do that to you. Any job, but that you love, or especially any sport, will do that to you. It'll focus you while you're doing it, and you might have the severest of ADD, ADHD outside, but when you're doing that sport, you're focused. Yeah, Ryan's playing the villain. I mean, his pops saying that racist thing about the Bill Haney's hair. That was wild. Like, I mean, damn. I don't know. I don't. I'm white, so I don't. I don't know the rules, but I'm pretty sure a Mexican can't say that. I know a Boricua might be able to say that, maybe, because Puerto Ricans have a lot of black blood in them, but I don't think a Mexican can say that. But he said it. I was like, I was mad cringy. So yeah, that's not good business saying that kind of stuff. And promoting the fight's one thing, but like tearing each other down, not good. Tearing each other down, there's no need for that. Be respectful. You want to create drama, like Ryan's creating drama on himself now. That's fine. You want to talk about your girlfriends, act like you're going crazy, cool. But you don't have to tear people down. I didn't really like what Devin was saying to Ryan either. Oh, you're a drug addict, you're this, you're that. Keep it to boxing. You want to talk about him quitting against Tank? Fine. But leave his personal life out of it. But Ryan was also coming at him. So at that point, they're just both going at each other. So, what's up, Chris? What's popping? So yeah, I don't know, man. I think, I think, um, I just hope Ryan makes it to the fight because you guys know he might not. Um, if I had to guess, I would say he is going to make it to the fight. I think he'll be fine. Guys, also please hit that like button. Helps every like helps. The algorithm helps me get my stuff more out. My lives don't get as many views as my other stuff, so I'm trying to get that to be a little better. Um, Trying to build the lives. I know I don't do them consistently enough, and I'm going to try and do that. I think this is a good time, maybe even earlier than this, maybe like 9ish Eastern. But yeah, so but I'm going to bounce soon. So if you guys have any other topics you want to talk about, any questions, now's the time. Fire away. Or any comments maybe on any of my videos, something you guys have liked or even didn't like, whatever. Um, Tell me. We could talk about it right quick. If Ryan loses, how do you feel about Derek James? Um, I know Derek personally. Um, I'm not gonna blame the trainer. It's a mix of both. I'm not gonna blame the trainer. There's certain instances where trainers are doing more harm. That does happen. But Derek James is at the level where he's not going to hurt any fighter. He can only help. You know, you can fix stupid. Who's stupid? I don't know what you're talking about, Larry. Specify, please. So we'll see. I mean, Derek has had some like obviously the arrow fight. That was a rough one for him. Who else? Oh, Charlo just fought. That was another rough one for him. And this one's probably not going to end well. Joshua was the only good one he had so far. So one out of three. It's probably going to be 1 out of 4 because I don't see Ryan winning. I'd be very surprised if Ryan wins. Like that I'm going to do 70-30, maybe even 70-30 to 80-20. That Devin just boxes his tube socks off. Kind of depends on the severity of the loss. Can you see either fighter getting the knockout? Either fighter of which fight? Talking about Haney and Ryan? No. Well, maybe Haney stopping him, but probably not. It's probably going to be a one-sided uh, boxing clinic put on by Haney. Ryan might maybe quit or might just throw in the towel, but I don't see Haney putting that much damage on him where he quits. Little, where his face is bad enough or what I'm saying, physically he has to stop. Mel wasn't listening to him. Yeah, I interviewed Malik Scott recently. Malik said that Gervonta, he was like, "Yo, stop circling, no more. Time to come straight at him." And Malik was like, "Deontay just wouldn't do it. He kept circling." So sometimes they don't listen. That's why it's almost always more on the fighter, not the trainer. Trainers can, like I said, there's instances where they do damage, but it's usually on the fighter. At least both fighters won't have weight issues for 140. Well, so we think. It's only 5 pounds, man. I'm sure you guys know this, but the average human body fluctuates 5 pounds throughout the day. So, be better version of both. Yeah, yeah. We'll see. We'll see. Um, I'm looking forward to the Joshua fight. It'll just be fun. Two big, strong dudes trying to knock each other's heads off. That's gonna be fun. And like, I feel like boxing is on the line in this fight because if Joshua loses, and this dude comes in and almost beats, arguably beats, and then does beat two of the best heavyweights in the division in only his second time ever lacing up a pair of professional boxing gloves. Boxing needs to get a new trainer itself and regroup. It's going to be bad. So I'm really rooting for Anthony Joshua. I think it's not literally on the line, Raphael, but it's I'm really well really don't want to see. It'll be like boxing takes a loss. Boxing won't be out of okay. Boxing won't be retired, but it'll take a bad loss. That's how I look at it. If Joshua loses, and you could say, well, Joshua's not that good, or you could say, well, Ngannou's just a freak of nature, and no other MMA guy could do that. Maybe, but it still makes boxing look awful. So I'm really going for Joshua, and I do think that aside, I think Joshua's going to stop him. Because I do have a bias where I want Joshua to win, but I can look at fights and not incorporate my bias when it comes to analyzing and breakdowns. And I still think Joshua's going to probably stop him because his inexperience is really going to be unraveled in this fight. You're going to see the lack of boxing experience he has as opposed to Anthony Joshua's. Did you hear the possibility of fighting under Benavidez undercard? Tank? No, I didn't hear that. I don't believe that. Tank is bigger than Benavidez. He would never. Nah. That, I'll say 99% is not true. Tank is way too big to be fighting on anybody's undercard. Maybe Canelo's, and even that I don't think he would do. The only person he could fight on the undercard would be Canelo, but he wouldn't do that. He wouldn't agree to fight on anybody's undercard because of his ego, and he wants to make himself his own brand. He's at the point where he doesn't subdivide his brand with somebody else. If Ryan so happens not to fight Barbosa versus Haney, it would still be good. Yeah, it will be. What's up, Polo Man? Yeah, Barbosa and Haney will be fun. I think Haney wins, but it'd be fun to watch. Guys, again, please hit the like button. Let me keep reminding everybody. Really appreciate that. It helps. Tank versus Martin will be the main event. I don't want to see that fight. I'll watch it. Like, I will watch it, obviously. But I don't want to see it, meaning the Four Horsemen, one of those guys, Tank, Tio, Shakur, and Haney. Those are the Four Horsemen. If they're not fighting each other, I don't want to see any other fights. I'll watch them because I love boxing, but I don't want to see them. They shouldn't be happening. Only those four should be fighting each other. And I'm not saying who ducked who because, well, like I said before, I don't blame one person in any situation. They all have their own pieces of the pie for why they're not fighting each other. And I don't care about why. I just care if they're not fighting each other. I don't care who's to blame because everybody's to blame. You know what I mean? So, whatever. So that's why I'm not excited for Tank versus Frank. And if you want to know who I think will win, I think Tank stops him, knocks him out. Last 10 years, you're saying they don't fight each other? Yeah, you got an argument for that. You got a good argument for that, Raphael. You got a good argument for that. Last 10 years, we've been having a lot of fights that are just since Floyd. When did Floyd and Pacquiao fight? Like 14? Yeah, since Floyd and Pacquiao. That's when it started. And then everything since then. That's the one negative thing Floyd did. Floyd imposed this A-side diva mentality on the people who aren't him. He's a rarity in not only in boxing, in sports history. So he gets license and merit to do certain things. But now everybody's trying to follow, carbon copy his blueprint Floyd. And you shouldn't blueprint everything he does because you can't because you're not him. I think it's a decent fight. Fights will come. No need to rush. Let the pot boil. Too much boiling. Too much boiling. I agree with you. Marinating is good, but it is over marinated now. It's starting to go rotten. You know, a lot of good boxing coming next 5 months. What are most interested in? Beterbiev, Bivol. That's going to be super fun. Undisputed light heavyweight. I'm also interested in the undisputed heavyweight, Usyk Fury. I'm also interested in and hopefully getting an undisputed lightweight or junior welter, if that could even happen with the four horsemen. That's it for now. Like, I love watching Inoue, but there's nobody that I'm really like amped about him fighting because none of the others. There's no real stars in those lower weight divisions besides him. Um, yeah, too much boiling. That's right, Anthony. Too much boiling. It's like when you leave the pot there and you forget, and then you go and it's just now the bottom of the pot is just black and charcoaled up because the burner is just boiling, no water left, and just melting the metal. That's where we're at right now. Be nice if Tank wasn't worried about pounds, so he might fight Devin Haney and not Frank Martin. Yeah. Neary's a star. Okay, you're right. I mean, I believe you. I'm going to look him up. You're right. It would be nice if Tank wasn't worried about weight. And I don't think he's that much worried about weight. I think he wants all the advantages he can have. And because 5 pounds is, I don't care what anybody says, 5 pounds is nothing. Even down at that lower weight class, 5 pounds is nothing. So, yeah, it's a high risk for him, I think. High risk, low reward. It's about 7 stars at 122. Yeah. Well, then that should be great for Inoue. That should be great for Inoue. I can't wait to see Inoue at 26. Yeah. I mean, here's one. Loma versus Inoue. I think Loma's naturally a 130 pounder. I do. Still. So he can go down, lose 4 pounds, and there we go. Tank could even conceivably, but I think 130 or 120, 126 is too light for Tank. But Inoue versus Loma. Boom. You heard it here first. Do you take some credit for fighters when fighting with catch weights and rehydration clauses? Do you take credit from them? No. Well, yes and no. No, because they're agreeing to it. Don't do it. If you know your body and you know how it's going to affect you. I don't care what anybody says. You know your body. You know how it's going to affect you. If you take it, it's on you. And then a little bit yes, because I do know that it can make you weak, and you're not going to get 100%, or no fighter's ever 100%, but you're not going to get the 95%. But in most fights, that doesn't matter. If a fight's mad close, then I'm like, okay, the rehydration, this dude might be better than the other dude. But if the fight's lopsided and the dude's saying he was dehydrated, to me, that's not going to make you look like a totally different fighter. It'll just make you lose a little bit. That is called a lot of weight, Marco. He'll be doing the De La Hoya. Nah. Loma fights he fights at 35, but I think he's really a 30 pounder. But he's older now, so maybe he can't make 30 anymore. So maybe. I think Tank wants to fight. I think its team is saying no. Should Tank just take control? Tank does take control. If he thinks he's not taking, his team might make him think. He might be under the impression that he's taking control, but his team might be like putting little, they know what to say. You're going to do that, man? You're a star. You don't concede anything. You're the ace side. Well, and then he starts believing it. So he does have control, but he might be being swayed. And we don't know, though. We don't know. I have no idea. There's a lot of weight. That's what I'm trying to say. Well, from 35 to 26 is a lot of weight, but I don't think he's naturally 35. I think he's naturally 30. If he's naturally 30, Loma, then going to 26 is not a lot of weight. But if he's naturally 35, then yeah, 10 pounds is at that way. Little guys like that, 10 pounds, that's when you start feeling it. I've been in there, man. Anything 10 to 15 pounds, you don't feel anything. You don't feel it. 10 pounds to 15, That's when you start. From 10 to 15 is when you start feeling a difference in the dude's strength and size. You know, when you're in there with them. But 5 pounds, no. 7, 8 pounds, no. Usually 10 or above. 15, really. I don't even really feel 10 pounds most of the time. But when you're lower weight class, like I fought at super middle 68, but if you're a 125 pounder, you might feel 10. Whereas for me, you know, because it's physics and it's for me, it would take me 15 to feel it. Whereas them, they'll feel it, start feeling the difference at 10. Not the problem. The problem is what weight class. I think Loma should go back to 130 and go for the undisputed because he can do it. 135 is too much weight in my eyes. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. He goes down to 130. Maybe Inoue can go to 130, or they can meet at a catch weight. That'd be dope. That'd be a good fight. That'd be great to see. You heard it here first. Tank's team wants the fight, but you got to come to him. You want to fight. I don't know. You don't know what Tank's team wants. I've talked to both his coaches, and they've told me different things. One says he doesn't want Shakur. The other one says they do want Shakur. But the fact is, the coaches don't decide who he fights. They might advise and give their opinion and sway, but they don't decide. It's Tank, and probably more so than anything, I bet you his promoter. The promoter is the one who has the most vested interest because they're the ones making money. So they want Tank to keep winning so they can keep making money. You know what I'm saying? Guys, again, please hit the like button if you have not already. Would appreciate it. Helps the algorithm get pushed across YouTube's. So I'm about to get out of here soon. So hit me with some more comments, questions. I was asking because EJ's team was saying don't fight Bud, and he said do it. Well, we don't know what EJ's team was saying, do we? Right? We don't know. They wanted to fight each other because they both knew that they were both the best. They were both the best. You could go ahead. They were both the best at the time, so they wanted to make that fight happen. So we don't know who and what. A lot of that's. I try not to get involved with that speculation and the drama of who ducked who and who said this. I try and just focus on the fights, the dudes, what they do in the ring. Now, there's certain things we talk about outside the ring that it's hard to ignore. But when you start getting into he said, she said, and assuming, you know, Tank and Shakur should happen this year. I don't think so. I think Shakur is. I don't think Tank. Shakur is the least biggest known and money fights of all the four horsemen, and he's probably one of the more dangerous, or at least hard to beat. Not dangerous that he'll beat Tank up, but dangerous that Tank can't beat him, or not as easily. So I think Shakur's the last one on the list of Tank's people to want to fight. But again, I could be wrong. ESPN is on fire. ESPN is killing all the other networks. Yeah, true. That's why, guys, email ESPN. Get me a job with them. Tank for Shakur should happen on New Year's. I don't think so, man. What was the first boxing match you watched live? Haha. It was with my father, who wasn't around much, but he happened to be around at this point. It was Michael Dokes versus Jerry Coetzee. It was a heavyweight championship of the world. Michael Dokes, it was 82 or 83. 1982 or 1983, I forget which one. Michael Dokes was champion. Jerry Coetzee upset him and beat him and became like the first white heavyweight champion in a long time when he did that too, I think. Although he was he's South African, but the first non-black heavyweight champion, I guess. And it was an upset because Michael Dokes was just favored to win. Jerry Coetzee had lost, and he had the surgeries on his hand, and he was supposed to lose that fight. And I remember watching that fight. That was the first one that I remember watching. I didn't know who anybody was at the time. I was just watching as a kid. What was the first boxing? Okay, I answered that. That's the first one I watched, but not the first one I went to. That wasn't the first boxing match that really imprinted on me, though. That was just the first one I remember ever seeing. But I was mad young. Doak's fast hands for a heavyweight, and the white boy beat them. The white boy beat them in South Africa. Yeah. Coetzee was decent. Yeah, that big porn star mustache. Look creepy, but he could fight. He just died recently too, man. I wanted to try and interview him. I'm gonna just say this: Tank versus Martin will be a bigger fight than Devin versus Ryan. No, it won't. It won't. It won't because it's not as exciting. First of all, and Tank is huge. Frank Martin is not known almost at all just to boxing pundits. Devin is known to the hardcores and the casuals, and Ryan is known to everybody across the board. So Devin has more star power than Frank Martin does, and Ryan and Tank are on the same level of star power. So that's why I got to give the edge to Devin versus Ryan, because Devin is just a bigger draw than Frank Martin. So no, I don't agree. Ryan playing too much, but Ryan washed up already. I don't know about that. I don't know if he's washed up, but he's definitely going through some challenges, mental challenges, it seems like. Can Haney steal Tank stardom like Benavidez could possibly steal Canelo's? No, because no matter who wins, Haney won't have the knockout power and that one punch, that eraser, because I call it an eraser because that one punch erases everything that's happened up to that point. He doesn't have that eraser. He never will. Maybe that Tank has. So no. Benavidez probably can't beat Canelo's because although Benavidez does have the power and the excitement, he doesn't have a whole country behind him like Canelo does. And he doesn't look different. Canelo having that red hair and having all Mexico behind him and also knocking people out, all that's a perfect recipe for a star. So Benavidez has a better chance, but still probably no. Everybody pray for Jared Anderson. Raphael, thank you again for the super chat. Everybody pray for Jared Anderson. Do not put him down. If you're not black, you don't understand the struggles of being a black man. Yeah. Everybody, well, what happened with him? He got arrested, right? Am I missing something? I don't know what's going on with him. I just heard that he got arrested. But yeah, he's a great talent. Seems like a good kid too. Definitely the only American heavyweight hope we have. The only American heavyweight hope we have. So you're saying that Tank versus Martin won't do more pay-per-views? No, I think Ryan and Devin will do more pay-per-views than Tank versus Martin. But it could be close. Because you got Tank. Yeah, I think it'll be, but I think I'm not sure, but I think, yeah. Thanks again, Raphael. Jared is not retiring at 27. What's up, host Joseph Torres? Whatever happened to me and Jeremy? Jeremy just stopped doing it. He has a job. He owns a security company. He's busy. He was just never really into it. Jeremy actually hates boxing. This happens sometimes. See, I wasn't in it enough. I would be in and out, so I wasn't in it enough to hate it, but he hates it now. So yeah, but he's doing good. Still talk to him. Top 3 heavyweights ever. Okay, I'm gonna answer this. I'm gonna get out of here. Top 3 heavyweights ever. That's actually easy. That's not that easy, but Joe Louis is the best heavyweight of all time, in my opinion. Jack Johnson, Joe Louis, and Jack Johnson and Joe Louis for sure. Now, mind you, this is era for era. I'm not saying Jack Johnson would have beaten Lennox Lewis because he wouldn't have, but era for era. Jack Johnson, Joe Louis, and that's tough. I can't think of the third one. I'd have to. I don't have Ali up there. I know that's sacrilege. Ali is the greatest outside the ring and for the movement that he backed. For his people, for culture. But he's not the best inside the ring, in my opinion. Not one of the top 3. Joe Louis didn't lose for almost 13 years straight. That's number 1. Jack Johnson, number 2. Maybe I'm trying to think of the third. Definitely not Mike Tyson. Holmes, possibly. Holmes is possibly one of them. Lennox Lewis has to be up there. Jack Dempsey. I wouldn't say Rocky Marciano because I think a boxer would have beat him. But Rocky is a consideration because he never lost, but he didn't fight that many. He only was champion for like 3 years. So, not Klitschko. Klitschko was a champion for a long time, but I wouldn't put him in the grades. So I'd have to look at that one more. But yeah. So, all right, guys, I'm gonna bounce. I will be back on again. Please hit the like button if you haven't already. And I will be back on here tomorrow. It's good talking to all you guys. Appreciate you guys. Peace.